Good afternoon to everyone as we welcome you to day 2 of the 2025 Windward Islands Football Association's Women's Championship being held here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We take in the national anthem of St. Lucia. National anthem of St. Lucia. Now we're going to have the national anthem of Dominica. And we're going to have the teams exchanging some pleasantries as we go through the starting lineups. For St. Lucia in goal, goalkeeper number 16, Kenya Lionel. Number 25, captain Cassandra Shepard. Number 2, Marissa Duncan. Number 5, Hayla Samuel. Number 6, the most outstanding player in their encounter before on day 1, Raquel John. Number 7, Tori Fanu. Number 8, Amaya Emmanuel. Number 9, Shimalin Albert. Number 10, Kyla Lenel. Number 13, Stephanie Allen. And number 15, Kristen St. Louis. For Dominica, we have Diamond Daniel in goal. Aline George, the captain, number 5. Number 3, Jessica Pear-Louis. Number 4, Leon Laurent. Number 7, Brunelli Laurent. Number 8, Brittany Stout. Number 9, Brittany Dennis. Number 10, Tamicia Pear-Louis. Number 14, Cameron Joseph. Number 18, Kenisha Jean-Louis. And number 20, Rosalinda Paul. So that's the starting lineup. Those are the starting lineups for St. Lucia and Dominica to start off match day 2 of the Windward Islands Football Association's Women's Championship here in Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. St. Lucia, they would be buoyed from their opening day encounter where they had a well-earned 2-1 victory over Barbados. And for Dominica, they would have gone down at St. Vincent and the Grenadines 2-0. And they would definitely be looking to make amends and cause some stir this evening when they get on the way this afternoon. In the middle, we have Darian Scanterbury. The first assistant is Abigail Mackenzie, and the second assistant, Jazani Kidd. Those are the major officials. Fourth official, Muzaki King from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So for St. Lucia, we've seen that they have introduced and started 2 different players today. Amaya Emmanuel, who would have come in during the second period of the first day's encounter. She gets a start this evening, as well as Kayla Lionel, number 10. For Dominica, that was for St. Lucia. For Dominica, Leon Laurent, Brunella Laurent, and Tamicia Pear-Louis, they're all in as new starters as it relates to what team was put out initially by Dominica on match day 1 Sunday. So we are getting ready for another encounter, and we saw some really good talent on show on match day 1 Sunday, and we are hoping that those abilities, capacities, and skills would dominate match day 2 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Another pretty cool afternoon. Had some showers in the leeward end of St. Vincent and the Grenadines today, as well as just across the middle of our country. But it's been pretty hot and warm over the last few months, and that has continued for most parts. So we are getting ready to start this afternoon's encounter. The Dominica will be defending the goal to the end that we will have normally we have the VIP seated here at the Victoria Park, while St. Lucia defending the gas station end or the road end from where we are sitting. So, referee Scanterbury, he is looking at his watch, and he gives a signal for the commencement of match 3. First match on match day 2 comes across. So number 4 for Dominica on the right hand side goes inside and finds number 20. That's Paul, but loses out. It's Fanu gets it. Nice touch by number 10 there. Pair Louis looking but losing out there to Dominica. They come down again on the right hand side into Paul. Paul comes back. Good attempting to have an interchange between herself and Pair St. Louis, Paul and Pair St. Louis, but St. Lucia broke that up very quickly. And goalkeeper comes out and plays it over to her left, looking to move down the left there, but seems as if it came off of Captain George for Dominica. Throw in for St. Lucia. Quickly taken. And they're taken back now to Duncan. Duncan cannot control. Captain George pulls it inside, but only as far as Fanu. Fanu is looking. She tries to cut onto her right foot, and this time is Paul pushing forward, looking, but commanded and controlled by John. John looks for the number 25 for St. Lucia. That's Shepherd. Shepherd turns and looks wide. Gets it to Fanu. Fanu plays it forward, looking for the number 9. That's Albert. And Albert is adjudged to be in an offside position. And so that play is broken down very quickly as it relates to the official's call. Dominica in white, all white with their strips of green, and St. Lucia in their blue with yellow trimmings, and their numbers also printed in yellow. A free kick coming the way of Dominica, booted downfield by looks like Dennis, as far as number 9 for St. Lucia. That's Albert. She tries to get around the number 4. Still Albert down the left hand side. Oh, a good attacking move there again by St. Louis, but she was at a very tight angle. And that one could not have been beaten goalkeeper Daniel this evening. And into touch it goes over the byline. Goal kick for Dominica. So pressure on very early here by St. Lucia. They would love to come away with another win and put themselves in a really good position to win this championship. Dominica would definitely have other ideas as they push forward now. St. Lucia though looking for this is St. Louis. St. Louis is dispossessed, taken by the number 7 for Dominica. There's Lawrence. She goes over to the left, and she's still moving down the left and cut out there quickly by Duncan. Marissa Duncan has been really good in the right back position for St. Lucia, but it's Dominica on the attack with a young lady over on the far side. She plays it inside, looking for the number 20, but only as far as this is Albert for St. Lucia, moving up on the right, looking to find on the left, looking to find St. Louis, finally getting it to St. Louis. St. Louis plays it through, good ball to Emmanuel, shot comes in into the palms eventually of Daniel, but that was a really good move by St. Louis, who have shown us that she's definitely she has proof in the pudding. She has quality, she has really good game sense, and this one was a good ball into the path of Emmanuel. Shot was taken, but in the way, Diamond Daniel for Dominica. So here we go, free kick taken. And downfield it goes, finding Captain George. George to the number 18 and Jean-Louis. Jean-Louis back to George, inadvertently overrunning the ball. And so St. Lucia is going to come away with it. Looking across now to the number 10. St. Lucia's number 10 is Lionel, Kayla Lionel this evening. She brings it back looking for Duncan. Duncan is looking inside. Good cross into the box, but cleared very quickly by the number 8. That is Stout. And it is now into touch. And the officials are now making a decision as it relates to that throw. Eventually it is being taken by that is Duncan. Duncan looking to find Albert. Albert shielding well, and she plays it back to Duncan over on the right hand side. St. Lucia camping out very, very early here in the fields of Dominica, the half of Dominica, and allowing Dominica to get out just on a few occasions. Another throw-in coming the way of St. Lucia. Duncan with it, and she gets it into Albert. Albert plays it back to Duncan. Duncan gets it to Albert. Albert, let's see what she does. Brings it back to Duncan. This time it goes into touch. Too much on it on the side there, and Duncan could not keep possession. So early moments yet, just about the 6th minute of this first encounter of match day 2 of the Windward Islands Women's Football Championship here in Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Dominica taking on St. Lucia. If you just joined us, Dominica are in white, taken away there by Emmanuel. Is it? It's Albert on this occasion, and but finally coming down well, here's Dominica with the number 20. That is Rosalind Paul. Paul goes inside to Captain George. George, however, in a tussle. She's still fighting for it. And finally coming away, St. Louis looks to get this to Emmanuel. Emmanuel again. Still Emmanuel. Still Emmanuel. She takes a shot. But opposite number 8 was able to block and saves Dominica. Another blemish there. And Jean-Louis, wonderfully done by Kenisha Jean-Louis. She's still going forward, but cannot get past Captain Cassandra Shepherd, who stood tall, stood strong, and stopped the movement of Jean-Louis that was looking promising for Dominica. Still 0-0. And we are in the first period of this first encounter of match day 2. And into touch it goes again. And so St. Lucia comes away with another throw. Looks like Duncan on the far side, on the right side. She brings it into Raquel John. She comes further across to the number 5. This is Hayla Samuel. Samuel is going back to our goalkeeper, finding Shepherd. Shepherd in the a really difficult position, but plays a beautiful ball over to number 8, looking for Emmanuel. Just a little slow onto it, and allowing Brianel Laurent to be able to intercept and cutting out what would have been a very, very dangerous move down the right-hand side for St. Lucia. Throw coming Dominica's way, taken there, and it looks like it's Captain George who heads it into touch. Another throw, this time again for St. Lucia. Duncan looks as if she's going to command the throws on the right-hand side here this afternoon. And so she does. Brings it back to Raquel John. John goes further. Well, that was the number 5, St. Louis, to pair Louis to John. And Samuel to John, I make it. And we now move forward with Emmanuel. Still Emmanuel. Good movement on the right-hand side. Emmanuel, but she cannot get past Captain Shepherd, Captain George, who is really doing a lot of work this afternoon for Dominica. Number 5 on her back. She was quite outstanding, albeit in a loss, 2-0 loss to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But she has been called upon to do a lot of work defensively so far for Dominica. Let's see what happens here. A good attempt to cross, gets it into Fanu finally, who lays it back to Shepherd. Shepherd into St. Louis, who attempted a one-time shot. I don't think she had control over it, but it goes into the hands of Diamond Daniel. And she boots it downfield, looking and finding Paul. Paul trying to come across, but only as far as Elaine. Elaine is trying to get around the number 10, but a good work there, finding number 20, Paul again. Paul going down line, looking for pair St. Louis. This is Dominica, on this occasion, and not allowing them to go forward is St. Lucia. Falls now for John, is it? Yeah, she comes across. John from Samuel to Elaine to Fanu, but cut out by number 14. Back to Fanu. Fanu pushes forward into the part of St. Louis. Looks to get it on to a number 10, but shielding out and doing well. Pushing it out to John. This is Jean-Louis looking for Captain George on the attack. Still Captain George. She has shielded well. She is still close to the byline. She crosses inside. John Nees is away only as far as Captain Shepherd on this occasion. Over to Fanu. Good a period of counter-attack here. Could be possible. Good ball. Excellent ball by Fanu. But unfortunately, her target person in Chrysson St. Louis had run offside, ran very quickly, and averting, well, killing, so to speak, what could have been a very, very, very promising move for St. Lucia. So, 11 minutes in the encounter, as Dominica proven their word so far, keeping St. Lucia at bay and trying at their best to go forward. This is one of the opportunities that they're going to have down the right-hand side. Dominica with number 4. Well, the number 4 is on her. Is it 4 or 14? Let's see what it is, but sure that was number 4. Loses out now to St. Lucia. That is Fanu looking for St. Louis. St. Louis cuts inside. Still St. Louis. She passes the second player, but gets it now to Fanu. Fanu looks across, finds number 10 in Kayla Lionel. And it's intercepted by Dominica, only as far as Duncan to Shepherd. A nice ball to Lionel. Over to Duncan. Good movement by St. Lucia on the right-hand side. Still Duncan. And Jean-Louis is proving to be a thorn in the flesh of Duncan as she attempted to go up the right. Dominica now takes the ball away. Into number 20 and Paul. Paul goes across. Finds her Captain George on the left-hand side. Comes back inside to Paul. Good movement this time by Dominica. Good decisions in passes. Excellent pass. Looking to find Rosalinda. That is Kanisha Jean-Louis. She gets a pass at the defender only momentarily, and battle there shoulder to shoulder, and coming away with it are the St. Lucians. This is number 8, Emmanuel, on the right hand side. She has the number 7 to contend with. She still has it. Goes even further, crosses inside, and that's St. Louis. She caught in there just ahead of a Diamond, and the Diamond, inadvertently I make it, was able to pull off a save. Let's look at the replay. And sneaking in there as she always does, St. Louis. This time the trailing leg of Diamond did the job for Dominica. So, yes, we're into the 12th minute. Wonderful afternoon, another cool afternoon, as we welcome co-commentator Mr. Cecil Charles. Welcome, Mr. Charles.
Good afternoon to you, Roxelle. Good afternoon to our viewing and listening public. And we are here for this matchup, St. Lucia versus Dominica.
All right.
And I realize the scoreline still 0-0.
Still 0-0, and we've had just a few chances, nothing clear-cut so far. And Dominica has been holding their own, and we're going to switch roles this afternoon in this first encounter. So here we go. It's Paul. Paul doing well. Paul pushing forward, looking for Jean-Louis. Still Paul, though, finds George. George should just Jean-Louis in some space, but John cuts out and averts a danger for St. Lucia. She finds Emmanuel. Emmanuel attempts to go up the right. Still Emmanuel. Looking now for, that looks like Pair Louis, the number 10, Tamesia, and she is battling there on the right hand side. Finds Emmanuel. Emmanuel looks to cross. She does so only as far as the number 8, who takes it down neatly for Dominica. That is Stout. All right, and there's an infringement against St. Lucia. And so Dominica is going to come away with a free kick. Even exchanges so far. We've had a few raids, so to speak, in both boxes. More so promising, more so dangerous to St. Lucians, Charlo, but the Dominicans have been holding their own.
Well, certainly, I think from the very first game we saw St. Lucia looking very composed, looked to be a good unit, and not really surprising that they have been looking rather dominant. Dominica, on the other hand, came against St. Vincent. There's some potentials there, but certainly I think St. Lucia looks a better outfit.
All right, so they would want to build on their success on day one. That's the St. Lucians. But the Dominicans have been stout in both matches so far. And they are definitely looking to see if they could disturb the apple cart this afternoon. But Captain George has been doing a lot of running and a lot of work. She's out having some medical attention as we move just about the 15-minute, Charlo. Over to you.
Well, certainly.
For the next,
so
a quarter of an hour.
It's going to be a free kick awarded to St. Lucia. And let's see, number 6 boots it downfield. Not able to control, but it goes out of play. And it's going to be a Dominica throw. And again, we see Raquel John, the number 6, a very familiar figure. Not sure. And we'll wait to see. So it's going to be Dominica. In fact, it goes out and St. Lucia now with a throw in. Number 13, Alain, finds her number 9, but cleared out there by Dominica. And again, once again, it goes out of play and it's going to be a throw in for St. Lucia. So goalkeeper clutches that. And no danger done, so it's still a 0-0 affair. As here is Lionel, who boots it downfield. Finds the number 9 for St. Lucia. That's Dennis. Dennis still with it, gets a wrong one, but a good work by the defense there for Dominica. Knocking that out of play for a throw-in for St. Lucia. Number 13, Alain. Alain looks to find Dennis. Dennis finds it, has 2 defenders to contend with. She's looking to work her way around. Good defensive work again by Dominica. Laurent was there, so it's going to be a corner. Corner for Dominica. It's still 0-0 here at Victoria Park. And this is the first game of a double-header. So it's St. Lucia versus Dominica at 7:30. St. Vincent will come up against Barbados. And so let's see, it's Captain Shepard, number 25, Cassandra Shepard crosses it and cleared that Dominica. Not yet cleared, it's just outside that penalty area. It's the number 2 for St. Lucia in Duncan. Duncan goes around looking for some support. It was the number 15, St. Louis. And again, that's being defended there by St. Lucia. And I think it's going to be a what? A corner.
Yes, there have been a few changes in the defense for Dominica, and it's been proven really sturdy so far. We have Sheena Talou was not starting this evening. Sagria St. Rose neither, and I believe Zariah Pascal, they would have been in the starting lineup yesterday, and some reinforcements coming in for Dominica, and it's proven sturdy, much sturdier today so far.
So it's going to be Albert, the number 9 for St. Lucia. Left-footed corner, swirling ball, the heads go up and just over the crossbar. And it's going to be a goal kick for Dominica. And you see Diamond Daniel. And it's in the total orange outfit, Roxelle.
Yes, I think she decided to sneak into my window and had a look this morning when we were preparing to go to work.
Well, the St. Lucian goalkeeper, the top is also orange.
Yeah, yes.
Black bottom, so Albert number 9, trying to work her way into that penalty area. Cross comes in and chest away there by Dominica. And a shot into the back of the net. Looks like number 7. And Lionel, number 10, that was booted past Daniel Diamond, who had absolutely no chance. And
well taken, Charlo. Really
Yes.
well taken. Just about on the bounce, on the up, and she got all her laces on it. I'm sure the technical staff would be very pleased with that finish.
well, St. Lucia has taken an early lead just about the 19th minute or so. So St. Lucia 1, Dominica 0, coming off the boot of Kyla Lionel, the number 10. And that had a bit of power. Daniel had absolutely no chance of saving that. So Dominica looking to come away, but gives it away. St. Lucia still with it. The goal scorer in Kyla Lionel is there, but it gives St. Lucia still with it. Going to work their way around. Number 7 in Fanus. Fanus chips it long field, looking to find Albert. Albert still there. Albert with a left footer into the back of the net. She scores. Albert on the brink of the 20th minute. So 2 goals inside a minute, Roxelle. And there was Albert getting a good pass. Left-footed pass. The goalkeeper, really a one-on-one, and really made good use of it.
Well, once she beat the defender, she was almost by herself, and she took her time, and you could have seen she composed herself. And again, another well-taken shot, technically beautiful, and precision in terms of what she wanted to do. St. Lucia now has a breathing space, so to speak. We know how difficult it is to, when you're up and to maintain that, but they can now get further control of this game, relax, play some football of some high quality here this afternoon.
Certainly with a 2-0 lead, a good advantage inside the 20th minute, just around 21 minutes of play so far. And so the pressure now is on Dominica as they try to bounce back. It's a throw in for Dominica. Long throw, looking for some support, but it is. So
another goal for St. Lucia by player number 9, that's Shamalin Alberts in minute number 21.
So really dominating play here, the St. Lucians. The Dominicans are having tremendous difficulty of coming out of their own half. And St. Lucia definitely putting on a show, as we would have seen in their first encounter against Barbados. Not as... the challenges is not as much as difficult as it was in match 1 for sure, but we would hope that Dominica could come to the party, get something and get their confidence up, as we would have seen at some moments against St. Vincent.
Well, definitely, and I just tell you, you're not missing any play because the players have gone to the sideline. It's pretty hot and very humid, so it's a cooling break of just to get some water for hydration purposes. And I'm sure that the technical staff will have some words with their players, Dominica more so than St. Lucia. And at this particular juncture, Roxelle, what you in the technical staff, what would you be saying to St. Lucia?
Well, I'll just compose yourself, keep playing good football, take your time in terms of the decisions you're making, enjoy the football, enjoy it, move it around, play it around, look for the right passes, because you're on top. You're on top. You do not need to go the extra mile in terms of overrunning and overcommitting yourself. Make sure that you are now in control of the encounter.
So one would want Dominica to compose themselves. Yes, you are 2-0 down, but it's far from over. And certainly if you can compose yourself, control the game, you can really bounce back from there. And so players back in the middle. So very soon we are going to have a restart of the action, and one would understand the break. And so it's going to be Diamond Daniel with a kickoff, finds her defense, who looks to boot it away, but not a good job. Picked up by the number 15 in St. Louis. St. Louis goes back. Finds Duncan on the far side. Duncan still with it across, but good defensive work still with Duncan, but Duncan crosses that, and there is St. Louis. It goes out, and it's going to be a goal kick for St. Lucia. Diamond Daniel just taking her time, trying to usher. In fact, she's going to leave it for one of our players who looks up now, and long ball finds the number 10, Pierre-Louis. Pierre-Louis still with it, loses it to number 13, Alain. The whistle going, infringement called against St. Lucia. So it's going to be a free kick for Dominica, who is trailing 2-0. And here is the number 14 in Kimra Joseph. She had a good game in the first encounter.
Yes, definitely.
Barbados.
Joseph was sturdy and really came to the party.
And so she booted long ball downfield off the head of the number 13, Alain. Alain loses it for the number 5 for Dominica, Captain George. And George goes across field. And not good work there by the midfielder. Unable to control it, goes out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in.
Yeah, Jean-Louis uncharacteristically, because she's been a live wire in the first 20 minutes or so. I'm probably just ran out of steam because, as you said, it's very, very humid. And she's probably feeling the effects of that.
So Duncan with a throw-in looking for her number 8, but it's headed away there by the number 8. Again, it goes out of play. It's another throw-in. And Duncan on that far side still looking for her number 8 in Emmanuel. And set it away, Dominica. Clearly there's Shepard, the captain, finds Emmanuel. Emmanuel, again, it goes out of play. Another throw-in. Emmanuel with it. Emmanuel looking to find her number 10 in Lionel. Unable. Dominica now, George, but loses it. Comes to Joseph. Joseph boots it downfield. Let's see if Dominica would have some encounter, but there is the number 5 for St. Lucia. Samuel with it. Comes back to Duncan. Back to Samuel. Samuel still trying to work her way around and off the Dominican. It goes out of place, so it's going to be another throw-in for St. Lucia. And quickly taken. Referee just pointed here. I think Duncan there looking to take some advantage of a few yards, Roxelle.
That doesn't look like a few. It looks like almost an acre.
She goes back into defense. Finds her number 6 in Raquel John. Back to her number 5. Now she finds Duncan. Duncan was unable to get around 2 defenders who knocked it out of play. It's still Dominica. Dominica looking to come forward. Again, they've been knocked out of play there by St. Lucia. And it's a throw-in for Dominica. Dominica looking to find the player on the left. It's number 20 in Paul. Paul looking to go downfield, but St. Lucia decides that they're not going to allow them to make any further advancement, and knocked it out of play. There's a throw-in. Sliding off the boot there of a St. Lucian player. Finds her number 15 in St. Louis. Back to number 4. Laurent for Dominica, but loses it to St. Louis. St. Louis has number 7 to contend with for Dominica. Dominica looking to come forward. Dominica, nice ball. Finds her number 9, who has been bumped off of it. And St. Lucia, Alain, looking to worm her way through. Good ball. Finds her number 25. Again, good interception there by Dominica. Dominica number 10 in Pierre-Louis. Looking to come forward, but losing it to St. Lucia. Number 7, Fanous. Fanous, nice ball, but again, good interception there by Dominica. And they're in a tussle. Here is Shepard. And George boots that into Fanous. Still with George. Back to Fanous. Fanous has a shot. And goalkeeper Diamond Daniel had no trouble in just bringing it down and taking it on the bounce. and just holds it on for a while before looking to boot it outfield.
Well, Fanu was actually shocked in the midriff while those two passes were came and went back to her. And even on the attempt of the shot, she was still holding the midriff. So I believe if she had composed herself a little bit more, you might have seen something more challenging to Daniel.
Definitely. So there was Duncan coming back to Shepherd. Shepherd with a nice ball. We're looking for St. Louis. Finds Fanous. Fanous comes back to Alain. Goes wide. Finds St. Louis. Louis looking for the number 9 in Albert. Albert still has 3 defenders to contend with, but she's not giving up. And Dominica eventually with the number 10. Pierre Louis coming away with it. But again, giving it away, and Fanous intercepts. But there was the number 4, Lauren, not allowing her to go through. I think there's a player down. I think it's going to be Joseph. It looks like from here.
So this is exactly what we were looking to see from St. Lucia. The passing into persons and players in space, taking their time, building properly, not wasting their energies in terms of running into impossible spaces and with the ball. And that we saw there as they tried to develop a play.
Yeah, so it's still St. Lucia. Dominica looking to come forward, but that's a loose ball. See the number 5 of Samuel for St. Lucia. She goes back to her goalkeeper in Lionel. Lionel looks to find some spaces, and Shepherd with it for St. Lucia. Goes wide, but absolutely no one there. It goes out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in.
It was deflected,
in fact,
actually.
It's
Yes.
deflected.
Yeah, it was deflected.
And it's going to be a throw-in for St. Lucia. Quickly taken. But no, Dominica looking to counter-attack. But again, St. Lucia having the advantage, getting a throwing with that ball that went out of play. And it's still Dominica. It's St. Lucia headed away there by George, Captain George. Still with it. So, Lionel, there is the number 8 for Dominica. And good defensive work. She decides that she's not going to give any advantage to St. Lucia. She boots it out of play, and it's going to be another throw-in for St. Lucia. So it's St. Lucia 2, Dominica 0, and Roxelle.
Yes, so just about 30 into the 32nd minute. It's with Lionel, who takes a shot. And this one goes wide off the nail upright, and Daniel just looks at it as it goes into spaces that would not affect her area that she has to protect. In all orange and looking the part, but has been peppered this afternoon. Most of the attack has been in the Dominica's half as she looks to boot this one downfield once more. There we go. It's Diamond Daniel. She does so now, but only as far as Fanu. Fanu inadvertently gets it to her number 9. That is Albert. Albert is in a tussle and out of touch again of the number 4. Well, the number 4 is listed at Polius on this card, so we are not very sure well, let's get that again. That's Lawrence. I'm mixing things up here. As there's a switch in terms of where we have the team. So here we go. It's Albert trying to move forward once again on the left-hand side, and into touch it goes over the byline. Dominica comes away with another goal kick.
So Dominica would look to counter-attack, but at the moment, St. Lucia having the better of the first half.
Game control is all. This is all that it should be about here for St. Lucia. Yes, we know it's still the first half, but they are large and they are in charge, and they've been dominating possession, and so they would like to make sure that everything they do is utmost best now. Here is Emmanuel, turns well, attempted a shot, comes away now with Dominica looking for George, but taken away by Lionel. Lionel finds Captain Shepherd. Shepherd goes into Fanous. Fanous controls well and goes back now to Lionel. Kayla Lionel this time, and goes over to the right, finds the number 8, Emmanuel. She crosses, but too close to goalkeeper Diamond, and she controls on the second attempt. She
I think good work by Diamond. She closed the angle well, and it was easy to take for her.
Okay, so Doing what she's required to do. Shepherd now do for Fanu. Fanu has two around her. Looks to chip it forward. Falls back to Captain Shepherd, who turns on her right. Looking. Good change of play. Going over to the right now. Looking for Emmanuel. Amaya Emmanuel. But too much on that one. And into touch it goes. Still, St. Lucia large and in charge in the 34th minute.
Well, definitely they are controlling the game, because most of the action really taking place in the Dominica's half. And goalkeeper Lionel for St. Lucia really having an easy time just relaxing in front of her goal.
Well, she would probably think she's on the Princess Margaret Beach in Beckway, because she's closer to that end, and with not much doing, chilling and seeing what's happening on the other end, and the people swimming on the Dominica's half so far, so to speak, with football. Because she has not much to do. As again, this is Albert trying to get around number 8 there for Dominica Stout. She's been strong. She's a tall, strong individual, and she has done what she has to do on most occasions this afternoon for Dominica. But again, a corner for St. Lucia.
So definitely. So and we can see Albert, the number 9, Shamalin Albert. It's going to be a left foot corner.
So this one should be swinging into the area. Let's see. She's asking if everybody's ready. This is a good corner just about the middle of the 6-yard box. Comes off a defender's head and eventually cleared. Back out to Albert, who smacks us inside. Let's see what happens. Jean-Louis comes to the rescue of Dominica. Clears only as far as number 6 in John. John goes across. Finds Duncan on the right-hand side. She has Jean-Louis, who seemed to have caught back her mojo, and but it's St. Lucia with Fanous, who comes off to the right, looking and finding a lane asking someone to go. She does in St. Louis. St. Louis controls. She looks inside, crosses nicely over to Lionel. Lionel hammers. Oh, that was a good opportunity for Lionel. Good again interchange by the St. Lucians. They developed it well, and 2 good crosses ending in one going over the crossbar.
Definitely, I think just a bit of anxiousness there on the part of Lionel, looking to really hammer that when it went over the crossbar. Diamond had absolutely no difficulty just watching it sailed over, but was good build-up on the part of St. Lucia.
Yes, we've seen that on many occasions, and they continue to impress. And they would love to go into the last encounter, in the first round, so to speak, before the final on Sunday, I believe, or Saturday, correct. So here we go. It's St. Louis falls now for Shepherd. Takes a shot. Sliding off the outside of the boot. And just going away from the near upright. Diamond would not have had a chance there, Charlo.
Well, I think it's a little bit of anxiety on the part of Shepherd, really, and he looked to power that past Diamond, and it went wide off the upright.
Difficulty coming out of their half. A lot of pressure here. Number 8, this is Emmanuel going inside. Shot taken, saved by Diamond. And again, coming down is Laurent, looking to find the number 10 in pair, Louis. She is losing it out. It's now Emmanuel finding Fanu. Fanu goes across, looking for the number 9 in Albert. But taken away by Jean-Louis. She is in a tussle with Lionel, Kayla Lionel that is. She finds Duncan to Captain Shepherd. Really what is supposed to be done here by St. Lucia, they're doing it on most occasions. Oh, what an attempt by, it looks like, Albert to get around a defender there. And she was infringing the process, but the eye there was superb.
It was very, very good indeed. But I must say, good defensive work on the part of Dominica. But St. Lucia at this present moment dominating play. And really all of the action taking place in the Dominica's half. And we can see Albert with that left foot. And she's going to try to curl that one back.
This one was not as good as she would have loved. It falls only for the players of Dominica in front of the pack of players lining off the 6-yard box. But let's see, it goes into touch, and it's going to be a throw-in for Dominica. So
a bit of relief,
yes,
on the part of Dominica.
The thing about it is that we in football in terms, we would say a 2-goal lead is one of the most precarious leads to have. So St. Lucia definitely looking to put the icing on the cake in the first half, look for a third, and they could probably relax a little bit more. Not to say that the game is done and dusted, Charlo.
Well, definitely not. And that goes out of play. It's going to be a throw-in for St. Lucia. But St. Lucia certainly they are in the driver's seat at this present moment.
And Elaine drives this one with her arms over to number 8 in Emmanuel. Emmanuel gets it to St. Louis, but she could not get around Laurent. That's Stout, actually, number 8, Brittany Stout.
Yes,
Another throw-in comes of the way of St. Lucia. Elaine with a lovely hairdo gets it in, but it's taken away. Still Fanu, this time on the defensive portion of the play, St. Louis, and she is asking questions, St. Louis, of our striker. Why are you not helping? The diminutive figure, very vocal.
But certainly, I think she has been very good on that left flank for St. Lucia. She's very, very active indeed, and you can see that she has that experience. She knows the game. And really asking, well, come on, and looking for that sort of support to put more pressure on Dominica.
Joseph boots downfield and only as far as the set player for no, but picking up now is Paul. Again, stolen. Fanu has it. She brings it back to Elaine. Elaine looking to find John. John brings it back to Elaine over here on the left-hand side. And she goes upfield into the number 8 in Emmanuel. Emmanuel does well and tries to push it forward, taken away by Stout though. And Stout moves down the left again. St. Lucia intercepting. Shepherd to Fanu. Fanu controls well. She looks inside and she tries to call one through the players. Taken by St. Louis over to Emmanuel. Emmanuel hammers, but good save. And
very good
save by Diamond. She anticipated it. She came and she ensured that the angle was smaller.
Very good work. Very good work on Diamond Daniel. Very good work. And that could have really spelled some serious trouble for Dominica. But Daniel came up trumps.
And here we go again. That's Albert trying to steal that one. We're going forward, looking for Jean-Louis and Diamond. Still Jean-Louis. And this time referee Scanterbury says that Jean-Louis infringed Diamond Duncan. And so another free kick coming away of St. Lucia.
Well, certainly, I think John Louis realized that she was beaten. Really a desperate attempt, and in the process, a foul in Duncan.
So Lionel gets a touch of it and gets it to John. John well played there by Elaine. Still Elaine.
Good work.
Oh, beautiful work by Elaine. Still Elaine putting on a show. Oh, wow. She's probably asking coach of the St. Lucians, listen, I could do some of this fancy work. I should be given a play up in the advancing half of this team.
She was really outstanding there. She was spinning, she was dancing, and really a good piece of work there on the part of Elaine. And so but in the end, infringement, and it's a free kick for Dominica. We see Captain George.
George takes it into the area. Elaine averts a danger, as she should, because she, after her fancy footwork, she was probably the reason for that infringement. And it goes inside, finding Paul, is it? And over to George. George is adjudged to be in an outside position. And oh well, referee Scanterbury, as I thought he should, he is pulling her back the play because there was an infringement on Rosalinda Paul as she attempted to advance for the Dominicans. And so I think this is a good call by
yes, it is.
The man in the middle.
It is. And so Dominica, they are getting a free kick, and we can see George going to have that free kick. There are two players there, but referee Scantleberry would indicate where that wall would be. You can see players just standing over it, perhaps thinking, well, hey, I'm not going to give you any space, but here it is. Scantleberry has indicated where the wall would be. It looks like a 3-man wall for St. Lucia, and Captain George is lining that up.
Well, this is an opportunity that they can definitely lick their chops at, try to get one back. She's been very prolific in terms of strength, but she brings it back only to Joseph. Joseph takes a shot. Not sure if that was the right idea. As we move into the 44th minute of this encounter, Charlo, I would have preferred to see George driving that one to the far
certainly
post.
one would have thought that she would have had that drive towards goal, but she tried to cross that to the middle, but not good work in the on her part, and it was easy clearance for St. Lucia.
Well, it's Elaine picking it up, and she brings it back to John. This is Raquel John who finds Samuel. Samuel back to John. John is finding Elaine. Good ball movement again.
So
and Elaine, this
for
time,
once,
decides to take her eyes off of it. And
acknowledges her
yes,
error.
Definitely. So it's number 4 for Dominica. Leanne Laurent, downfield she goes, only as far as John, finds Captain Shepard, good ball movement again, this time to Fanu. Fanu finds St. Louis. St. Louis caresses it into the path of the number 8, but here we go again, Brittany Stout, strong and sturdy, and coming in and taking no prisoners, putting something on
she carries her name. Stout, and there was a stout defense
definitely
there.
Leaving something on
yes.
Emmanuel, and Emmanuel is not getting up. Yes, so a good tackle though, very very strong tackle, and that would be in the mind of Emmanuel for a little bit, Charlo.
And we could see Stout coming in, good sportsmanship, having a quiet word with Emmanuel, and she's still on her knees in a praying position. Now she's been helped by Red Cross to the sideline. So perhaps a little bit more serious than we thought.
Probably a bit winded because
yes.
I didn't see anything untoward in terms of the challenge. It was a very strong challenge, stout as well.
Contact.
Correct, and probably an arm inadvertently into the stomach area, and a bit winded, and that's probably what's the issue there. But I'm sure she's going to be fine. With the medical staff, they are working hard. Shepard comes again and attempts to intercept. And it is going to be a throw-in. I hope she's okay. And there we go. So the football is still in progress as we have a throw-in coming the way of I make it Dominica. Leanne Laurent, she is going to take the throw. We've passed 46 minutes on our clock, and referee Canterbury does the check of our watch as we say so, and this one goes forward, and only into the arms of Daniel. Let's see what the call would be, how much added on time we'll have. Booted downfield by Daniel. Good work by the number 20 again, Paul, looking for Jean-Louis, but Duncan comes away with it. Duncan still in possession, and this is it. That's the end of the first half. First half totally dominated by St. Lucia, and where we saw conversions by Kayla Lionel and Amaya Emmanuel, who inadvertently sustained an injury, we may say, or something
yes.
that disturbed her general homeostasis, and she's having some medical work.
Certainly, I think by they have enough time now to recuperate as we take the break for the first half. That was, as you rightly said, dominated by St. Lucia and reflected in the scoreline, 2-0. And really, they would sit high and dry. Dominica would have some work to do among the technical staff and the players to try to bounce back from that trailing at 2-0.
All right, well, as the spectators and the players enjoy some music from the DJ, we'll leave you here for a bit. Halftime, large and in charge. The ladies from the Helen of the West over the island of many rivers. St. Lucia 2, Dominica 0. Do you have anything sweet in there?
Hey, turn the world off and turn the music on. Just light up another one. Relax and just close your eyes. Oh, natural mystic is in the air. But my say,
We say we love the cannabis.
St. Vincent, I love it. That's all I can say.
that's the life, the life, the life, the life we live. That's the life we live.
Yeah. Carnival is in the watch how the girl them bounce in the shaking rum all over the. Yeah. Carnival is in the watch how the girl them bounce in the shaking rum all over the. Yeah. Give me some now, take some now.
Yeah, so we are back at the Victoria Park where we are bringing you live coverage of match day 2 in the 2025 Windward Islands Football Association's Women's Championship here. Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines leading after the first period in this opening encounter this evening are the St. Lucians. They are leading 2-0 via courtesy goals from Kayla Lionel and Maya Emmanuel, 20th and 21st minute respectively. As the whistle goes for the commencement of this second period, a good ball, good long ball early in the piece here by Shepherd, looking to find number 9 for St. Lucia, Albert, down the right hand side.
Entering the game is number 12.
And so we have some substitutions.
Leaving the game is number 8.
So Corey Williams has replaced Maya Emmanuel, who sustained some injury at the very last few moments of the opening encounter, of the last moments of the opening half, that is. And so, Charlo, we have Corey Williams coming in and replacing Amaya Emmanuel for St. Lucia.
So perhaps they are a little bit more serious than we thought. And so immediate substitution. St. Lucia goes into the second half with a 2-0 lead.
Right, well, they had the time. They had a good 15 or so minutes to assess the situation and to make necessary adjustments, and then they are leading, so they do not need as a good player possibly who would be required for some more stern battles later on in the piece. Some opportunity for her to be rested and to get her recovery going for Thursday and Saturday.
But most definitely, there were 2 days. There's still some days, and you have tomorrow a rest day that you can recover, and so we look forward for that. So because St. Lucia, they have been well, and one would anticipate what they would offer when they come up against St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, shot taken there, I think, by Jessica Pear-Louis, and diving to her right to collect that one was Kenya Lionel. She boosts downfield for St. Lucia, and again an infringement against the number 9 Albert, and so Dominica having some possession, the better of the exchanges so far in the second period. Some stern words must have been given to the group.
Well,
we need to really push and do better than we've done so far, and let's see if that transcends to some quality, a better quality play and even goals for Dominica. But it's St. Lucia with it. Fanu finds Captain Shepherd, who again, a wonderful ball down the right hand side, looking for Albert. She gets onto it now. Let's see what she does. She attempts a cross, but blocked by the number 3 for Dominica. That's Jessica Pear-Louis, and the first corner of the second period coming the way of St. Lucia.
very early into the second half, and St. Lucia with a corner, and I'm sure that the St. Lucians would want to make this corner count.
So it looks like Albert who takes it and goes in just about the near post. Coming in hard there was Captain Shepherd on Jean-Louis, and referee Canterbury says that it was an infringement. So free kick comes the way of Dominica. Pair St. Louis, Jessica, it looks like, going to boot of field, looking for Paul. She attempts to control, falls though for that is Shepherd. Shepherd finds Lionel, Kayla Lionel into St. Louis. St. Louis looking to get around the defender, does so, and I think she was in a really tight space there.
It was
almost at the byline, and even if she crossed, it might have been in the hands of Diamond.
Yeah, certainly it was very tight on St. Louis, and not surprising that it really went over the crossbar and out of play, and it's a goal kick for Dominica.
Trying once more now is Jessica Pear-Louis. only as far as the number 10, Kayla. She is trying to get it back to Fanu, but coming in hard there, the player on the right for Dominica. Now it's Shepherd to Fanu. Shepherd has really good movement and control of this football as she comes over to the right again, into the path of Albert. Is she going to pull it back in? No, she can't. This one had too much on it. And the idea is right, but a little bit more precision in terms of the weight of the pass.
I think when one looks at Shepherd, she's a very powerful young lady, and that had a bit more on it than anticipated, and there was Albert unable to rein it in.
Well, it's Albert trying to weave her way into the middle of the field. She takes a shot. Oh, good save. Was dying on Daniel, and maybe might have snuck in or even be onto that upright, but she did not know what would have transpired, and she came up with a big save.
Well, certainly, and we pushed it out of play, and it's going to be a corner. And she's taking a few seconds to really regain her composure. I think she's back on her feet, and all is well. So it's going to be Kayla Lionel and to take that corner.
Lionel goes into the area. Oh, good attempt there by Fanu. Again, Fanu takes another shot by St. Louis. Off, it looks like Stout. Down to Duncan. Duncan hammers this into the on-running defender. The attacker, that is. Falls now for number 5. That is Samuel. Samuel to Duncan. Duncan coming on the right. Good movement. Looking to find, but that one is behind Lionel. She attempts to dispossess the number 7 for Dominica. Number 7 here listed as Brunella Laurent.
But it was good defensive work on the part of Dominica, and not allowing St. Lucia to sneak through any space. And they really closed down the spaces, and the attempt to get at goal was really thwarted.
Well, that was really good work by Paul, who attempted to go forward, and the referee Canterbury is trying to pull it back now. It's against St. Lucia. Fanu is expressing her disapproval in a very loud way. She would like to know what that call is about. But also quite
summoned.
Yes, quite impressive for Dominica this evening is the number 20 Rosalinda Paul. She has been quite active on both ends this afternoon for Dominica.
Well, Jessica St. Louis, Pierre Louis, with that free kick.
Right,
she would look to get it into that penalty area.
And she gets it to the near post, only as far as Albert, headed back into the part of St. Louis. Père Louis, that is. She crosses. George pulls it down, but she's coming away from an offside position. And that was an easy call for the assistant on the far side.
So it's going to be a free kick for St. Lucia, who's still leading this encounter 2-0.
And they're still... that elusive third goal still wandering there, and as long as that's the case, Dominica will still feel that they're in with a shout. Shepherd plays it through, trying to find St. Louis. Falls now for Lionel, and Lionel is once again committing an infringement on Pair St. Louis, Jessica Pair St. Louis. We do have 2 of them on the field for Dominica in terms of Pair St. Louis. Or Pierre Louis.
Pierre Louis in the number 3 and in
yes,
number 10.
Number 10, correct. So it's Jessica, Pierre Louis, about to take this free kick on. They're attacking the left-hand side. Not a good kick, but Jean-Paul trying to fight her way through. Falls now for Albert for St. Lucia. She has her head down, and she's gonna go to the races against Jessica. She gets past Jessica into the box. She crosses it back into the pool. Good work by Joseph, because St. Louis was definitely approaching as she normally does. And after some good work by Albert, excellent defensive work by Joseph to follow that play all the way through.
Definitely, Roxelle. And Dominica really standing firm in defense.
And they're gonna have to do that because Fanu is on it, and she looks as if she's a lady on the mission this evening. Oh, good ball, well taken by St. Louis. Oh my word, that was excellent football, well possessed and good movement by Fanu, and the touch, the ball into St. Louis, precise and well taken, beautifully taken, and she was infringed as she attempted to turn.
Yes, so I think Joseph, the guilty offender there for Dominica, but she would not mind. Now she goes down, perhaps getting a little nip somewhere on the feet, and assistance being sought. So play being held up as Joseph gets some attention. And St. Lucia leading this encounter 2-0. And they defeated Barbados in the first encounter 2-1. And here they are leading Dominica 2-0. And we are inside the second half. And she's now signaled to go to the sideline. Play is about to restart. We see the number 6, that familiar figure of Raquel John. And she's standing here with Hansa Kimbo.
And there she goes. She takes the kick into the area and safely into the hands of Diamond, who is...
In fact, safely into Diamond's hand.
Yes. So she boots upfield again for No, trying to control. Collects now, it's John over to Shepard, but stolen by Paul. Paul finds her left midfielder, but Fanu picks up the loose ball again to John. She is inadvertently playing a bad ball, uncharacteristically, I should say. And the force of Paul now. Dominica pushing forward into the area, but John clears it, looking for Kayla Lionel. She has in front of her Albert. Albert controls. What does she do? She cuts inside, and she's looking for movement. Attempt to get it through two players. Falls now for the number 12. Let's see what she does. And she's blocked off. Fanu is the recipient. She plays it into the path of Albert. But again, a defense for Dominica standing tall. Lionel to St. Louis. St. Louis crosses into the arms of Diamond, who in an uncomfortable position collects.
Very much so. You can see Lionel there really closing the angle, anticipating that shot, and in the end, an easy take for her as Dominica now looks to counter-attack.
Well, they're trying to get that one to George, cut out by Alain, only as far as Paul, back to George. George has a lane to contend with, and the lane would have done enough to push a lane into making an error and putting that one into touch. Number 12 for St. Lucia. This is Chloe Williams. She is getting it. Good interchange. Excellent interchange, but a bit too much on it there for Williams. Between St. Louis and Williams, and ball goes over to the far right hand side on the deep into the Dominicans half. They're trying to come away with it. And number 7, she has it. That's Laurent looking to find George. She does. Back to Paul. This is good movement by Dominica, and Paul's pass is too long and easily taken by John. Finds Fanu, who turns neatly, and she plays it through, looking for Williams. Is Williams going to get onto this one? She has a defender to contend with, who shields it into touch. Looks like the number 3 in pair St. Louis, and heating up the exchange. Dominica's definitely not saying die here, Charlie.
Well, certainly we have seen some improvement in terms of their play from the first half. But Dominica in defense been standing strong, particularly Raquel John. And you can see Alain as well, the number 13, and not really giving Dominica that opportunity to sneak through.
Right, so St. Lucia, the defenders continue to do well. I'm really impressed with Fanu this afternoon. She's been the part, and Albert picks it up. There's Albert looking to take a shot. She does. Comes off of St. Louis, who the referee has decided that this is an infringement against. I'm not sure if it came off her hand or because there was no outside signal. So I believe the shot from Albert may have been intercepted by the arm of St. Louis.
Well, certainly, and so That was into the back of the net, but the referee's whistle went early, and so that's a goal denied. So St. Lucia still leading 2-0, and it's a goal kick for Dominica.
All right, so Charlo, go ahead with
the
it.
60th minute or so as it's booted downfield. Cut out there by Fanu. Fanu finds Lionel, but Dominica intercepts the number 7 in Laurent. It goes wide to John Louis, and cut out there by St. Lucia. But again, we can see Shepard. Shepard with it for St. Lucia. Shepard looking for some support, looking for St. Louis. Had too much on it. It goes out of play. It's going to be a goal kick for Dominica. So it's Dominica 0, St. Lucia 2. We are just about the 61st minute. Diamond Daniel, decked in her orange outfit. She just being held up a bit as she takes her time, goes to her left. And that's a poor piece of work, but good work by Diamond, and still losing it, and that's into the back of the net. That was St. Louis. Poor defense, poor piece of clearance by Diamond Daniel. St. Louis was there to pick up that loose ball into the back of the net, and Pierre-Louis, just about the 61st minute, pushes St. Lucia ahead. 3-0, Roxelle.
Yes, well, always looking and thereabout. She presses very hard at St. Louis. She is always on the move, whether in defense or trying to make an error, cause an error by the defense of the opposing team. And she's rewarded by continuing to be that person who pushes and presses the defense when they do have the ball.
Certainly, so St. Lucia now really in a very commanding position. 3-0. We are into the second half, and certainly it's a lot of work on the part of Dominica to pull things back from here. And the way St. Lucia are playing, it's going to be a difficult proposition.
Well, the Dominica would definitely still have to keep their heads up. All is not lost. They can definitely try to pull something out of the bag. They'd have to do it bit by bit, Charlo. They can't look at the high mountain and decide to get there at once.
Chip away at the foundation. And so that was booted out of play. It's going to be a goal kick for Dominica. So Dominica 0, St. Lucia 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, goal for St. Lucia, scored by number 15, Christian St. Louis, in minute 61.
And so St. Louis and Chrisanne, and she scored in the very first game, so she has really made her mark in the second game. Again, is St. Louis closing in, but Dominica, John Louis, not getting it clear, but Albert is there, gives it to Kayla Lionel, and back to Shepard to St. Louis. The offside flag is up, and St. Louis caught in an offside position, so that's going to be a free kick for Dominica, and I'm sure they will welcome that. Again, we see this in the start of the second half, where a lot of action taking place in the Dominica's half, and really St. Lucia pressing the advantage. 3-0. John Louis, the number 10, and Pierre Louis rather, boots it long ball, long field. Misses there. It's going to be the number 5, George. George looking to come away with it. Still George. George goes down the left flank, but he's been knocked out of play by Duncan on that far side. It's going to be a throw-in for Dominica. This time inside the St. Lucia's half. And so there's going to be a substitution. The number 18 in John Louis goes off, and on comes number 16 in Sheena Talou. Right, so too number 20 goes off in Paul, and on comes number 6 in Anique Francis. So double substitution for Dominica. So some fresh legs, and I think there's going to be a third substitution. Off would go number 8, and on comes number 19 in Priscilla Samuel. So triple substitution on the part of Dominica. So some fresh legs, and again that being knocked out of play by St. Lucia. So another throw-in for Dominica. So Dominica inside their half. Nice ball that again it goes out of play. It's going to be a goal kick for St. Lucia. So Kenna Lionel lining up that goal kick. She has had a charmed evening so far, not being put under any pressure, as there was St. John. John booted it downfield. It's Dominica still with it, looking to come forward. Dominica still there. And number 6 getting her first touch in Francis. Francis still with it. Goes back to her defense, finds Joseph. Joseph goes down the left flank looking for some support. Dominica, but there is St. Lucia cutting that out and looking for that counter attack. So it goes downfield. It's St. Lucia on the run. Williams crosses in looking for St. Louis, finds Albert. Albert is in an offside position. The flag went up very, very quickly indeed.
Substitution for
And down goes a Dominican player. And the referee is right on spot. He's signaling for some support. As she limps away to the sideline, it looks like Joseph.
Leaving the game is number 8.
She seems to be all right.
Entering the game is number
Referee
6.
Scantleberry.
Anik Francis. Leaving the game is number 20, Rosalinda Paul.
So
And
all is
entering
well.
the game is
Yeah, well,
Roxanne?
Charlo, the substitutions for Dominica, I must say, I am looking at the action that those three would have been in. They were very, very active. They ran all evening. They all three worked really, really hard, and so their capacity and their minutes and their capabilities must have been monitored.
Had
and
some
so,
miles under the
yes,
legs.
definitely had some miles, and so good substitution in the context of preserving the players here, Charlo.
So it's Dominica looking to come away with it. Good ball, but it's John is in defense, finds Shepard. And there's that Fanu. She looks for finds St. Louis. And good work by the defender. They're not giving St. Louis that opportunity. But Shepard steals it. Shepard with a shot. And off the defender, but good work by Diamond Daniel. Knocking it that down and taking it on the rebound and keeping the score line 3-0. So St. Lucia still with it. Still looking to worm their way through the middle there of Dominica. Nice ball, finds St. Louis. St. Louis once again finds Lionel with a shot. And it went over the crossbar. I think she was in a perfect position. Just anxiety getting the better of her. And rather than control, have a one-time shot at it, Roxelle, and over the crossbar.
I wonder if St. Louis saying you stole my shot, because she looked as if she's already sizing up to have a hammer as well. But yes, I think just a little bit too eager there, the number 10.
So again, St. Lucia with it. St. Louis is busy, and that's a tame shot to Daniel. Daniel holds on to it a bit. Now she boots it downfield, looking for her players, but only to find Shepard, who was unable to control. But Duncan cleans it up for St. Lucia. Finds Fanous. Fanous for once didn't control. That was booted aimlessly downfield. But there is Raquel John. Goes back to her goalkeeper, who boots it out and finds Shepard. Shepard to John. And to Lionel. Lionel to Fanu, to Duncan. Duncan finds Albert. Albert goes down the right, looks to get around a defender, does so. And the cross comes in. And there is St. Lucia. St. Louis wants again. And good work by Diamond. Knocking it out of play. And Dominica would now look to counter-attack. And St. Lucia there with it. It goes out of play. It's going to be a throw-in for St. Lucia.
Enjoying the exploits of this evening, St. Lucia. Really looking good on the move forward. Another opportunity coming to St. Louis this time. Well positioned was a goalkeeper Diamond.
So Duncan goes back, but cut out there by Dominica, but only to give it to Captain Shepherd, who looks to find St. Louis. St. Louis once again, she's been pushed to the side by the defense. Again, we can see Dominica now looking to come forward, but losing it and regaining. Now Dominica now would look to come away with it. George, captain, controls. Goes to Ole, has Fanous to contend with. Gets around Fanous. And it's still looking to go forward. Again, she's still there, but in the end, Fanous steals it. Fanous never giving up. And there is Dominica. That one booted hard downfield. Goalkeeper Lionel comes off her line. And it's just about 2 players going down on the far side, Roxelle.
Well, they were in a
winded a bit.
Yeah, serious tussle there as Dominica attempted to mount an attack, trying to get around Fanu, and she never gave up, and she even went into the challenge and won the battle. Now she's getting some refreshment, because definitely 2 very, very hard bursts that they had to contend with there against their opponent player.
Well, definitely. So, referee just running away. So it's going to be Scanterbury. Bounce ball. Top by Kenna Lionel, the goalkeeper. Boots it downfield. A chest down there by Dominica. But St. Lucia will come away with it. Captain Shepherd. Shepherd still with it. And not good work there by the defense. And he has Albert. Albert looking to worm her way down and losing her footing, but he regains it. And he's still coming through, but into the side netting. Not good finishing there on the part of Albert. And the score remains 3-0.
Well, they're on top. St. Lucia are on top, definitely. And again, they do have time and space to make the right decisions. And these goals that they may be missing, or the opportunities that they're not converting, may add up later on in the competition. And so they would need to definitely just regain their composure, be a little bit more precise and on the ball in terms of what they've done to get them here so far.
So Dominica will look to on the counter. Looking, but in the end, again, we see St. Lucia standing firm. Shepherd has it, has a defender, goes to Fanu, but back to Shepherd, finds Lionel. Lionel still with it. Lionel comes back to Duncan. Duncan chips it downfield off the head of John Louis, looks like. And Daniel coming off her line and collects. So the score remains 3-0. As Dominica would look to come away. Fanu with it for St. Lucia. Goes back looking for Alain on that far side. It seems as if there's going to be a substitution for St. Lucia. We'll wait as Dominica is in, but Kayla Lionel stealing that one. Boots it a downfield. And referee just signaling to allow that substitution. So off would go Albert, on would come the number 4. So Albert goes off. Kayla Polius. Alright. So Shamelin Albert goes off. She opened the scoring for St. Lucia. And Polius came on in the first game and immediately made her mark. Roxelle, a very busy little player, shows a lot of skills. And perhaps they're saving her for those moments.
Well, at this juncture in the game, they are largely in charge of St. Lucians, and so she has an opportunity to enjoy the last 18 minutes or so, and not as difficult a situation as it was on Sunday evening, where they had to find a goal and then an equalizer, and she was part and parcel of both of them.
Definitely. So it's a free kick for Dominica. Jessica Pierre-Louis, and comes back to her number 7 in Laurent. Laurent still with it, clears. Dominica will look to come away with it, but steal there by Duncan for St. Lucia. St. Lucia still with it. Shepherd not controlling well. Loses it. Good work there by the number 16 in Toulouse. Toulouse goes to a right, but St. Lucia, Dominica losing it. George on the far side cannot rein it in. It's going to be a throw-in for Dominica. So Dominica, we are just about into the 75th minute. George unable to control. Again, he knocks it out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in for St. Lucia. We see it's that Alain on that far side at number 13. Yes. And so the referee just running across to have a word with his assistant. And this is a St. Lucian player warming up just behind the officials. And so St. Lucia leading 3-0.
Well, some words being given to, it looks as if it's a Dominican bench. Is it? One of the benches from our vantage point, and that was information that was transpired from the assistant. And so he had a few words and probably a warning.
It looks like the St. Lucia's bench.
Yes, probably a warning in the context of what's happening. So any further intervention of the sort, I'm sure he'll probably be sent to the stands. But here we go. It is Dominica trying to mount an attack with Joseph. Joseph goes forward, looking to find number 17 on the far side. Into touch it goes. And St. Lucia definitely in control of this encounter. They're leading 3-0 via strikes and conversions from Emmanuel, Kayla Lionel, and Chryson St. Louis. And they are definitely showing their class this afternoon. This one is another throw-in. Keeper Lionel comes in, collects, and she's looking for movement. And she boots downfield, good kick, just past the halfway line. St. Louis trying to control. She does so on the second attempt, all the way back now to Samuel. Samuel, is giving this away. Only to the number 9 for Dominica. Looking to go forward to Sheena Toulouse. But as far as Lionel once more, she moves downfield. This time, again, almost to the middle. And it falls. Polius gets her first touch. Does she? Yes, she does. And it's a miscommunication between herself and Fanous. And so Dominica with George goes forward, still George, but she is battling and can't get around a very diminutive but strong defensive player in Alain.
Yes, you can see that desperation from George.
Okay, set on her way is Polia. She cuts inside, falls though, and Joseph is it. It looks like the number 4, Laurent, who does good work, eventually puts it into touch. Another throw-in coming the way of Dominica. Actually came from the referee's signal. Looks as if it came off of the St. Lucian. So throw taken only as far as Shepard though. Shepard comes inside and finds Fanu, who's been impressive today. She comes across looking to find the number 10 and intercepted momentarily. Still now with Lionel. Kayla Lionel this time finds Duncan. Duncan is going into a battle that she did not win fairly, and so Africa comes away with Dominica.
So good work there by Dennis.
And so Duncan clears the danger, only as far as Fanu. She's been impressive. She's has acres of space ahead of her. She plays a wonderful ball into the path of St. Louis. Can she do it? This time, I think the defender there did really, really well to get in between St. Louis
yes.
and the ball. Let's see if we can see that on the replay. But St. Louis definitely down now. But a tremendous through ball there
yes,
by Fanu.
Good ball, but good defensive work there by the Dominican defender, and getting between St. Louis and Daniel, is shielding it so that Daniel could have picked it up just ahead of St. Lucia, who was really St. Louis who was closing in.
But so St. Louis is down. So too looks like is Toulouse. No, is it? No, it looks we probably. Would have to look at this. Probably number 4 for Dominica in Laurent.
Laurent.
Yes, So they're both having a bit of attention.
And so St. Louis now making her way to the sideline is the number 7, Brianelle Laurent.
So Laurent is going to be
So
substituted.
she too would be sent to the side. So she'll be substituted for Dominica. But it looks like St. Rose, Sagira, St. Rose, who would be coming on.
Well, St. Rose started yesterday for Dominica, and so switch of roles. She's now coming in to give a last burst and some strength to the defense. I make it. But St. Lucia are definitely in charge here. This would be their second victory in consecutive matches of the 2025 Wifa Women's Championship here in St. Vincent.
Off would go number 5 in Ali and George, and on would come number 16. No.
So Captain George has been substituted. Just about
number
10
9
minutes
also
left.
goes off, and on would come Kiana Phillips, number 13.
So ringing the changes here, Dominica.
They're really ringing the changes.
And so they should, because they have to show a caution to the wind right now and see if they can pull something out of the bag, so to speak, with some fresh legs. Yeah, but they would have just over 9 minutes to attempt to do so, as it's booted up field by Diamond. Falls now for Kayla Lionel. Lionel comes across into the part of Williams. Still Williams. Over to Polius. It's Polius again. Is it?
It looks
no.
like Williams.
It looks like Williams, correct. Yes, Williams, correct. Williams, who started the play almost, comes through there. And as she was about, as Polius, I believe, was about to unleash a shot, Williams decided to have the final touch at the near post. St. Lucia piling it on here now. They're leading 4-0.
Well, definitely the pressure is on Dominica, and can they rebound after this pressure? Time is going. They just about 8 or so minutes of regulation time remaining. Not sure how many minutes of added time would be given, but really Dominica under pressure.
Well, at this stage, Charlotte, I would believe it's about damage control for Dominica, whether they can pull back one and reduce the deficit, or ensure that no more is converted. But there we go. It's Polius, a ball into Polius, but she is deemed to be in an offside position, and so the danger averted here for Dominica once again. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines versus Barbados. That's going to be our second encounter for this evening. We should bring you coverage of that from about 7:30 p.m. But leading the spoils on both the tables, goal scoring, and also in terms of their quality football so far, Charlo, St. Lucia.
Definitely, they have really showed their class, and I think it's going to, from what the signal you're seeing, I'm very interesting to see the matchup against Lady Heat in terms of the way the St. Lucians have been playing.
It would be a test on both ends. It would be a test for the defenses of both teams based on what we have seen in this encounter. The midfield would have to come chump and do their work, hard work on either side. That would be, I believe, on Thursday. Here we go. Number 17 goes across looking for Corey Williams. And it goes into touch. Another throw-in, this time in favor of Dominica. The far left-hand side, and then under the lights here again, as you would have mentioned on Tuesday, difficult to pick up the numbers as they turn, especially away from us. But here we go. It's Dominica on with the number 15 coming up on the right-hand side. Stolen though by Alain into Polius. Polius controls and turns, and she brings it in to St. Louis. St. Louis, attempting to move, is picked up by the number 16. That's Sheena Talou, and she is pushing forward. This time only as far as Shepherd. Shepherd finds that's Samuel. Samuel to the number 17 who just came in St. Rose. St. Rose pushes it forward. A defender cannot control, and the shot taken and directly to Diamond. Not what she would like. She would have liked to have Diamond actually stretching to her left or right there, St. Louis. And she is looking for they lose the second goal.
Well, he had some power on it, but straight to Diamond, who covered it well and averted any further danger.
Well, this is Polius looking to find St. Louis. She robs the defender of it and pulls it back. This time not enough on it to pass the defender as this one is pushed forward. Lane is intercepting again. But Dominica comes away with it. Number 6 in her possession. That's Francis. And into Joseph, who is brought down. And feeling some of it there as well. And number 12 for St. Lucia in Chloe Williams. But she is it Williams or is it Kayla? It looks like Kayla there. Number 10, Kayla Lionel. And a free kick coming the way of Dominica. St. Lucia definitely large and in charge. They have dominated from the onset. In the first period, they almost camped out in the half of Dominica. Came away 2 goals to the good, and now they have added 2 further to the account here. Right, so now with Lionel, Kayla Lionel, who is robbing the Dominican of it. She pushes it forward. What is this? She attempts, is it a shot or a cross? I believe it was a shot, but it was too far out, and that would not trouble Diamond on any day. Absolutely not. Diamond hammers upfield, just into about the 87th minute. Falls now for the number 17 for St. Lucia. She comes inside, finds Polius, lays it back neatly to this number 17. She is walking through with it. Looks as if she wanted to set herself up, but in the process, she was infringed. Fouled as the defender number 6 there for Dominica coming in. That is Francis.
And number 6, Dominica, yes.
And so another free kick, this time in a dangerous position for someone of quality and someone of power to take here, Charlie.
Well, it looks like St. Rose, the number 17. In fact, the number 17 is Marquis for St. Lucia. And she looks rather powerful. So will she be going straight to goal? It's left to be seen.
And I think still feeling a bit of that collision is number 10.
Kyla
Lionel, when she not knees, it seems like, with the number 7 for Dominica, and she's now going to be stretched off. And at this stage, Charlo, the St. Lucians really don't need to push and exert themselves too much. A push on injuries that could probably mean them missing another game, and so taking the right route here now to have some attention.
But definitely, and I would anticipate there might be a substitution, and they allow the player to just rest and recuperate. So Kyla Lionel, the number 10, being stretchered off, and referee just ensuring all is well before that free kick. So Marquise, she's been patient.
And the whistle goes. Canterbury sounds it, and a good kick, but low to the near post. Not enough power. I make it to beat Daniel Charlo.
Well, certainly Daniel didn't take it cleanly. It rebounded, but she covered ground and recovered before any of the St. Lucians could get their feet wrapped around it.
So she boots upfield, looking for a player going up on the right-hand side into touch again. And St. Lucia once again definitely showing their quality. This is St. Louis, plays it back to the number 17 into that's Williams. Williams tries to wiggle away, comes back to Williams. Oh, good attempt as she opened up and looked to try place that one into the far corner. and it evaded that just by inches.
Well, certainly again we can see the pressure on Dominica there, not really clearing in their defense, and she had a shot on, looking to get into the far corner. Certainly a little closer. Daniel certainly would have been beaten, but it slid across the face of the goal and out of play for a goal kick.
90 minutes, just about a few seconds away. It would be elapsed as St. Louis takes another shot. This one again just loops up in the air, and Daniel snatches it without any issues. Another player on the ground, probably winded head, looks like Joseph. Once again, she has put in the work for Dominica.
She has been there from the very inception, and I think that definitely she has done the work.
So 5 minutes of additional time for stoppages, and we would probably agree with that because we've had a good few stoppages in this second period here, Charlo.
Yes, certainly we have had quite a few stoppages, quite a few players picking up maybe some niggles, and now she's been given a hand. She's been helped to her feet, and now she's been ushered to the sideline as she limps away.
And as was expected, a substitution for Kayla Lionel. Coming in there, we'll see the number. It looks like number 19 for St. Lucia is Alexander. So just into the second minute of stoppage time taken by St. Louis. She's surrounded by a few good players. Leaves it now for Polias, who can't return the ball. But it's St. Louis who picked up and pounced on the loose ball, and with some assistance from the upright precision. That's 5. 2 to St. Louis, 5 to St. Lucia, and they are definitely on their way.
Well, certainly I think the wheels are falling off the train for Dominica. They are really being hammered here by St. Lucia. Now they are trailing 5-0, and it shows the dominance of St. Lucia in this game. And they continue. St. Louis continue to be that shining light, continue to put the pressure on the defense, and the defense really not able to stand up.
Well, she looks as if she has energy unrelenting, and she's always there in the fray to look for those that are running free, so to speak, the ball when they are not controlled. But Dominica trying to go forward, and this is a call against them. Again, Elaine on the ground, but she has done human service to the...
She's a tough character.
Yes.
She's back on her feet.
Definitely.
Elaine,
It's been
number 13.
again very, very good for them in that left back position. So central defender pushes down, finds Captain Shepard, number 25 on as she pushes into the path looking for St. Louis. A little bit too much on it again, and Diamond boots outside only as far as Polias. What does she do? I believe she's wrenching there as Polias. She's down, and I was about to say she didn't want to go. It doesn't seem like she wanted to go into that tackle because of what happened yesterday. And again, she's down and looks as if she is going to be required.
Well, she was a bit hesitant because I think the Daniel was coming through with a pace, and she recognized that diminutive figure and not really having that frame to stand up.
Well, probably a cause for concern. Again, Polias getting a knock and having to leave the field. Let's see if she will return on this occasion.
Well, certainly with a boot in hand.
All right, and into the 4th minute of additional time. The referee is asking a play to well, she's still on the sideline, it was. So here we go, the throw now taken, and Dominica loses out. St. Louis finds their number 17 who tries to return the pass. Intercepted by Dominica once more as they try to mount one last attack, I believe, up on this left-hand side. They'll go by the number 17. She doesn't keep it in touch, though. She attempted to go for the races there, Charlo.
Kiana Phillips looking to keep it in, but unable to do so.
Yes. So, here we go with Corey Williams. Cut out by Dominica. Finds the number 3, pair St. Louis, over to number 6. And miscommunication. Looks as if they're tired, the Dominicans, in some instances. This one is pushed forward, looking for St. Louis, who doesn't seem to lack any energy at all. And she cuts inside again and brought down just outside the box. And because this was definitely a movement onto to the area, she was issued a card, the defender.
Well, so St. Louis looking to put more pressure on the defense. So it's 5-0 in favor of St. Lucia. And the referee Scantleberry just indicating where that wall should be. So let's see, there's a 4-man wall.
So Marquise is standing behind us. Let's see if she does have some power. Let's see if she can make it 6, and this, I believe, could be the final kick of the evening in this encounter. And here we go, she hammers one, but goes over the bar, and it is the final kick. And so St. Lucia have emerged winners here. Deservingly, they dominated from the start to the finish. 5-0. Amaya Emmanuel in the 21st minute. Kayla Lionel in the 20th minute. We had Chloe Williams in the 82nd minute. And 2 conversions from Chrisland St. Louis in the 61st and 90th +1. St. Lucia 5, Dominica 0, Charlo.
Well, certainly a dominant performance by St. Lucia here over the Dominicans, and they're coming away with a comfortable and commanding victory of 5-0. And really, Dominica will have to regroup. It's a learning experience. They would have to do some work. They have tomorrow being arrested before they come back on Thursday. So it's going to be pretty interesting when they would take on Barbados, and St. Vincent would have the St. Lucia on that Thursday.
So there it is. We will be back in a jiffy. St. Lucia, if the point system is 3 points per match, well, they would have gone to 6, and they do have a goal difference of 6, having 2 goals to 1, and converting 5 here without an answer from Dominica. We'll be back just about 7:30 with match number 2 on day 2 of the Wifa Women's Football Championship here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Kingstown, St. Vincent to be exact. 5-0. The first one ends.